We're good? All right, got a thumbs up. Michael said we're good. So, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's just now 6 o'clock, so we started right on time. And hey, I even got a flash that we're live on my phone. What, 5 o'clock? I'm sorry. I'm still on the old meeting, 5 o'clock. All right. So let's go ahead and start the meeting with a pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mr. Ricks, you lead us in prayer?
Father God, we just thank you for this time to come together as community members, Lord, to discuss community matters, Father. I pray your presence be in the midst amongst us as we do your business here today, Father God. I pray a hedge of protection around this board and every member of this department. For it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and do a roll call. I have Mr. Ricks.
Here.
Mr. Castaneda. Here. Mr. Baptiste. Here. Mr. Jacks.
Here.
Andy Hall, I'm present. Okay, I'd like to recognize the administration that's here. We have PMI, we have the sheriff's guest, Mr. Gray. Miss Rosa is not going to be here tonight, I'd like to recognize folks from the department and from the public. So thank you guys for coming. So next up on the agenda is going to be the approval of the minutes from the meeting of April 9th. I have a motion to approve.
I would make a motion that we approve minutes from the night.
And do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? I hear none, so let's go with a vote. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. Employee recognition is up.
Yes, sir. We have a couple employees we're going to recognize. Let me recognize first our four gentlemen that were recognized last Thursday in Pearl River. They graduated their recruit class. Mason Chassant, Elijah Jacks, Dalton Sansons, and Jason Lejean all graduated recruit school, so they are on their way to the wonderful career of the fire service. So we were excited to celebrate with them last Thursday. So congratulations to them. Mr. Matthew Wade. Matt Wade is a firefighter operator EMT. He has made his confirmation as of March 25th this year. And so we would like to take a moment and formally recognize him and allow his spouse to pin him and give them the honors of just receiving his formal pin.
That'd be great.
So we'll do that today.
Yeah.
Sorry, mine's nice.
Yeah. Just tell, they'll get the hammer the opinion.
She can hammer the pin and everything else.
Okay. Use the option.
This is the part where you make a speech. All right, congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Our next employee recognition, I'm gonna let Chief Gilliott speak just a little bit briefly on Mr. Dustin Morrow. But he does come with us with a lot of years of service. He's with a couple other departments before us, paramedic, operator, firefighter, and and everything else he's been doing for us. So Mike Gilgott's gonna kind of touch on Mr. Dustin Morrow.
Dustin, would you like to come up front? Little prayer there for a minute, no longer tell me that we got prepared for that. And calendar firefighters, you gotta watch them. So. Got him. There you go. Let's see, take a picture with you real quick and then I'll get to my. One, two, three. Perfect. So the chairman award is given, I don't know if you want to speak at all, that's Mr. Dan. The chairman award is given for outstanding employee that we'd like to recognize at different times. I want to say a little something about Dustin. Dustin started his career in August the 2nd, 2007. He's in his 17th year of the fire service. The Morrow family as a whole has served the community of Lacombe for some years now. His father, Remy, currently works part-time as a medic here. His sister, Kayla Morrow, was a former medic that worked here at Fire District 3 for a certain amount of years also. A few months ago, Dustin had a conversation with me right outside this building about his future. And we ended that conversation. He decided he'd like an opportunity to become a full-time employee. Today, I'm honored to recognize Dustin for his exceptional leadership and unwavering commitment for mentoring the next generation of firefighters. Through his dedication, he has not only excelled in his duties, but has become a beacon of guidance and inspiration for the young recruits on the ship. I think any of them here today, but they didn't know. His approach to leadership is a testament to the impact that one individual can have on shaping the future of our fire. In a profession where teamwork and integrity are paramount, Dustin stands out as a model employee. His influence extends beyond the training session. It permeates the culture that we want to see in our department, instills a sense of pride and purpose to our department. Congratulations, Dustin. Thank you. Dustin, I forgot. Most important part. Commissioner's allowed to get a gift certificate, Jamie Brown's, $60.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, so one of the topics I'll get on just a little bit is our fitness and agility initiatives that we've been putting on, and Dustin has been spearheading a lot of those evolutions that they're doing in our gym, and he's helping develop the course that our firefighters are going through to make sure that they're physically fit to do the job that we have to do here. So he's been a huge part in that, and we he's been standing out the last few months that he's been working here, so we're proud of him, and we're proud to have him with us here at District 3. Did I carry everybody? That's everything I have for employee recognition today. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Anybody have any questions concerning employees, how that all happened with the employee recognition? That chairman's award is not it's not given on a monthly basis. It's really just given out when a person excels. So it's not like every month that's given out. It's a really special thing to win that. So congratulations. All right. Next thing on the agenda is we got the treasurer's report. So Mr. Raymond.
Okay, as of 10, the month of the checking account balance, previous balance of $1,398,530.23, ending balance of $1,233,097.22. This is from the checking account with a different number than give you two checking account balance, but they're two different checking account numbers, so the difference. And the sinking fund, which we have to maintain a balance of $1,500 or so. We have a previous balance of $1,512.81, and an average balance of $1,512.82. and an ending balance of $1,513.18. So on the next checking account, previous balance was $601,921.45, with an average balance of $567,827.28. And the ending balance was $654,562.85, with an interest earned of $7,128.38. And that complete the report.
So let's go ahead and, could we get a motion to adopt the, treasurer's report?
Adopt.
Yes. Okay.
Make it.
Motion, you got a motion, can we have a second?
I'll second it.
You have a second. All right, so that opens it up for discussion. Do we have any discussion on the treasurer's report? Nope. Okay. Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the treasurer's report, and so chief, it's, chief's reports now.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Call volume, 620 calls year to date. In April, we had 122 calls. In April, 100% of our, how do we word that? We've had both med units up, fully staffed, 100% of our time for the month of April. One mutual aid, received. We had both our med units on a call, so third call came out and we were required to call for mutual aid. Just a few other updates. I did mention some of the initiatives that we're doing with the agility and fitness stuff. We've added some gym equipment to that building at 32, some free weights, a new weight bench, and some other items that we, some kettlebells and stuff like that, that the guys requested. We introduced some helmet cameras to our captain's helmets. This is part of our public outreach and our training initiatives. I want to be able to capture some of these calls that we go on, not only for review, but also to capture some things that we may be able to use for public outreach. We really want our public to understand some of the things that we do. And obviously, we will review them before they're made public, but we want them to be able to see some of the things we do and capture some of the calls that we go on, as well as us to be able to go in and quality control those calls, discuss them, and train and learn from them. So that's something that we did invest in, and they'll go on 3 of the captain's helmets, and we'll kind of see what that brings us in the future. First Due, Mark and Mike have been working on First Due and rolling that out. We've introduced the scheduling module this week. Mike Gilliard's been doing that training, so we're introducing that. I know we also are transitioning to using the fire reporting modules and then the training modules as well. So we're definitely rolling that out and moving forward, and hopefully by the end of this year we'll be fully into First Due and utilizing all the features that First Due has to offer. Just to recap, First Due is our reporting system that we use, and it has all kind of additional bells and whistles. So we're excited to use that. PIL was submitted last month. We have not gotten any information back from PIL. He said it would be up to 3 months before we even heard back from him. He would schedule a meeting with us, so we have not heard back from PIL just yet. This month we had our annual EMS audit. They come and inspect our documentation, our med units, our procedures, our narcotic documentation, etc. We did really well. We did have to work on just some driver training bullet points, but outside of that, we did well. We passed. We're recertified for another year to operate our ambulances. And hurricane season will be here in just a few weeks, so we're going to start working on prep for that. I have started working on some ideas as far as redundancy, communications, backup options and stuff like that. I know we also met in some other meetings to discuss some of those options as well. So we are very well aware that that's coming up in just a couple of weeks, and we're going to be ahead of that game, hopefully. And hopefully we won't have to use any of us or our equipment, but that is everything I have listed on my chief's report.
So I've got something, Mike. So you said we had 122 calls this month. I get these calls on my phone. I have an opportunity to see them. And I just wanna, I thought about it, the amount of times these guys get up out of bed and go out and do a lifting assist. I, it's been at least for the last 3 weeks. It seems like I'd like to say it's every day, but it seems like at least every other day, these guys, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody needs just to be picked up and put back in a chair or put back in a bed. And that's the part you don't see on the 911 television shows.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's, I can't imagine how meaningful that is to those people.
Yes.
It's incredible. So, that's a part that really gets missed.
Yeah.
In it. So I want to thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah, we
It means
appreciate
a
it.
lot, it means a lot to a lot of people.
It does.
Especially the elderly and their families. I have a neighbor, I know y'all been there a couple of times, man. His wife is so appreciative for y'all. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
And just to touch on that real quick, it brought up a meeting we had this month too with Lakeview. They do have a fall prevention initiative that they're doing as well. And so we did plan to work with Suzanne, some of the nurses at Lakeview to roll out a fall prevention training. So they'll go.
Does that go to the family?
Yeah, that'll go to
Community?
citizens, that would go to the community, they go to coast, they may go to the nursing home,
Yeah.
some church events and stuff like that. So we did have that discussion also this month.
Would it be appropriate maybe to get some of their brochures and some of these families that you go do lift assist with,
Yeah, we did talk about that. They also talked about the grip socks and everything else. So that is part of a conversation that we had
That's good.
with Lakeview. So that did spark that that conversation that we did have with them just this month. Yes, sir.
Good. Those are all positive things for the community. I do have a question. A few months ago, we had passed, resolutions to dispose of some of the surplus equipment. I think the things that come to my mind is we have those 2 trailers, one back here. Are we getting close to getting that out and?
We did start doing some clearing of that trailer. It was fully stocked with MCI, expired EMS equipment, et cetera. And so we did start that process. It did, kind of turn to the back burner just a little bit with PIL and some other, cleaning of the training building and disposing of a lot of unused and trash basically is what we've held on
How many
to. So,
dumpsters did you fill?
we're probably on number 3 or 4.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And so we definitely intend to go back to that.
It's just that, and I'm not saying that you're late or tardy or anything. I know we talked about it. It was a resolution. I just want to make sure it stays alive. That's all. Okay. And then will you be addressing the physical fitness program, either one of you guys?
We can, I know we're in the infancy stage of that. We're fully trying to develop the course. And then based on what we decide is the end game as far as the course, then we'll develop some plans as far as, implementing the course and then having these employees meet certain goals. So this isn't necessarily something we're using to get rid of employees or discipline employees, but we want to give them the motivation to obviously keep up their health, keep up their skills and be able to work out and be able to save a member of the community if they have to, not, as well as each other if something happens inside of a house or something like that. So this is just really, yeah. I think it's going to be more of a competition, and I welcome that. For them to kind of compete against one another and bragging rights. I know they have their times written on the board, the race board, and so they're kind of trying to beat each other's time. So I think
What was your time?
I haven't done my time yet.
I was
working on the MCI trail.
All right.
Yeah, I'll let Mike get out there a little bit of that. Yeah.
I just want to say that our guys have been, they've really been hustling on this. We've got buy-in from not just our full timers, from a lot of our part timers, taking this very seriously. And we're in a stage where we're trying to refine and get it to where we need to get it with goals that we are realistic goals, but setting a good
So
standard.
these are gonna be achievable goals?
They will be achievable goals. And I can do it for you if you need me to. Chief. We got, they'll be achievable goals. And the best part about it is we really do have a lot of buy-in. The guys are taking it very seriously and we love to see it. And we're participating and going down there and encouraging them. So, yeah, it's in the right
It's not gonna
direction.
be too difficult to be causing injuries.
Yeah, we're,
That's, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's been from one extreme to the other,
right.
you know.
Okay, that's all the questions I had. Does anybody have any questions? Chief? How about?
Did, I know Mark had a training meeting this morning. I don't know if you had any specific training updates you want to provide.
Not from Davin this morning, but just over the last month, we hosted at 32 Federer came with their burn trailer.
Oh, I don't remember.
That was a success. We have a lot of positive feedback from it. So we're gonna do that once a month, the last Tuesday of every month. They're gonna, from the 32 with a new prop. So we had two guys pass their instructor 2 class. We sent one to a canal rescue that Paul Frazier Dive and Rescue Company hosted at Pearl River. So all 4 of the candidates in the rookie school passed. We participated in the career day at Bayou Tone this week. So we met with every classroom, roughly 200 plus students. And then that's about it. Just 27th of this month, Fed will be back with that door breach prop. That'll be about it.
So under that, under the training, this is just really a message for the Board of Commissioners. I had gotten an email from the parish attorney and I don't know if anybody else got it or not, but, got it yesterday, and it was to remind the Board of Commissioners must complete the Louisiana Board of Ethics statement no later than the 15th of this month. So you may want to check your emails, make sure that you've got it. If you don't have it, I'll get a copy of the form sent to Ms. Teresa and it's in the instructions. So you need to fill it out. So we got to get that done by the 15th. Okay?
And that's very serious because it comes with a $1,500 fine if you don't.
Oh, yeah.
And we got the reminder like yesterday. So anyway. All right, so anything else for the chief? Anything else you want to talk about? Nothing? Okay, so we have on the agenda a section for Hearts on Fire. And then Rosa got called out to another engagement that she had to attend. So I said I would say a few words about it. They are alive, they're working, they're doing things. They had a table set up for Earth Day that was over here first part of the month. And basically it was an introduction. They were introducing the Hearts on Fire folks to the community. I didn't stay there a lot, but I do know there were people walking up and asked, and I think they had a little donation and people were actually throwing some money in a little jar hat that they had there. Some other things that they were doing is they've been helping get the training building back together. You know, we recognize what these guys are doing down there as far as fitness. And then they taking it so serious. And so, you know, we was wanting to do some things for them to make that place a little bit more palatable for them to be. So they were working on that. They are in the process of completing their 501c3 application. I was going to talk to Chad about it, but it looks like we're going to be able to do it using the short form on it. So that's looking pretty good for them. And they have a logo. And I think this is like a 90% completed logo. I don't know, I think there's some small editing that has to be done to it, but this is about where it's going to be. Yeah, and, I don't know if they adopted a project. Have you guys adopted? No projects have been adopted yet, so. So that's just basically, I said a few words, I just want folks to know that they're doing their thing, all right? And it's, they're coming up to speed, they're slowly getting their legs up underneath them. And, I appreciate all the things that they're doing. Yeah. So, all right, so that's a little report on parts on the fire. So moving into old business. We have been kicking this can down the road a little bit, and that's the ambulance billing practices. And at previous meetings, I think we're going back now a couple of meetings. There's three basically, there's three policies that we wanted to review, that Corona's had. One was our financial assistance policy, one was for medical or Medicare beneficiary death billing policy. And the other is trying to understand the aging of the billing, how that works. So as promised, I come up with a draft and I sent it to everyone, to their emails. And I also have copies of them. They're in your packets. So if you hadn't had an opportunity to take a look at them, but we do have two policies. One, the financial assistance, and the other is the death policy. And essentially, all I did with these things, I didn't get really creative. The only thing I did was make sure that SDFD 3 Board of Commissioners are the responsible parties for relieving anybody's debt. We went down this road last year. It didn't work well for us. We ended up forgiving a lot of debt probably that we didn't have to forgive. And so, lessons learned, we're not gonna let other people forgive our debt. So we're gonna go ahead and that's basically what I've got. So the copies are there. We could, what we really need to do is kind of get this finalized. And I'd like to get a motion to adopt both the financial and the death billing policies.
Make a motion.
Repeat that again, please.
So I'd like to get a motion to adopt both the financial and death billing policies that we have. Those are there in front of you. And so did you make a motion? If you had a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
And we have a second. That opens it up for any discussion. So if there's a point of this that you'd like to discuss, we can. No? Okay. So I have no discussion. So let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of adopting both the financial assistance policy and the Medicare beneficiary death billing policy, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I hear none, so those carried. Now, we still got the aging part that we're gonna do. Now, I had some conversations with Mr. Jackson. He's expressed an interest in working with the billing company as well as Coronas. Coronas as well as PMI, so that we get a very good understanding of this money. What is aging? What are our solid accounts receivable? So he's taken that on, and I believe he's already started some communication, so.
I would just say we'll designate that as a record keeping resolution 2025-18, 018, and we will attach one as exhibit A and one as exhibit B, so they'll be parts of the resolution.
And part of the financial assistance, there is a poem on the back of it.
Right.
We make sure we got that included into it. And then, so what we'll do after tonight, would you want to go ahead, since you're in conversation with Coronas, let them know what these policies are, or would you prefer Michael?
I'll take care of it.
He's out. Okay. All right, so that's done. And next up is we've got resolution 2025-15. And that is the approve the commercial property casualty and automobile insurance. Basically, it's going to read, the district has determined the best interest to approve the 2025 VFIS proposal for commercial property casualty and automobile insurance. And Mr. Wininski's really been working that for us, pretty hard, so I'll let you, if you have something you wanna talk about there.
The annual premium is approximately $149,000, which is up about $20,000 above the prior policy. The majority of that was, we passed a resolution to value the replacement cost of our buildings at 200 square foot, so we basically more than doubled the valuation for replacement cost on our current structures. That is the principal reason for doing that. You had some of your buildings so undervalued that FEMA would not come in and offer reimbursement because you were undervalued so much. So we got it up to speed. We are under a consent rate because we are under the 90-mile as the crow flies water exposure. So that does have an impact on your rates, but all in all, it's a very good renewal. And I recommend approval.
Okay, so we have a motion to adopt the resolution 2025-15 as it relates to property, commercial property casualty and auto insurance. We have a motion, do we have a second? Second, do we have a second? Any further discussion on it?
Okay.
No? So let's vote, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? I hear none, so the resolution is passed. All right, let's go in, carries us into new business. And so we've got a millage renewal that's coming at us. It's I call it the 10 mills, but it's, what is it, 9.95,
95, I believe.
yes, it's close. It's coming due. And so there's an expert in the house, Mr. Grant. Schroeder's is here to speak to us tonight. I've had some conversations with him. He's got, I can tell you, I don't really know a lot of the man, but what I have been told, he is the expert as it relates to elections and bonds and tax renewal. So he's here to kind of give us some guidance, give us some input, and we can make a decision after he tells us what he's got to say. So it's all for you.
Branch Wood with Fuller Udell, bond counsel, our firm handles matters for the state and most of the political subdivisions around the state with respect to bonds and taxes only. I've handled your prior elections, although I've not been out here for a little bit, and not all of you know me. In this particular parish, we represent the school board, parish government, Pelican Park, Coquille, the hospital service districts, and so forth. So this is all we do. The question you had posed to me is, we're getting closer to the time to renew one of your 2 millages, and what are our options? One option that came to mind very quickly for your 2 millages, not just the one that is going to be maturing before the other one, is to do something like we did for Pelican Park, Recreation District number 1. About a year or so ago, what we did is we submitted a proposal to the voters to consolidate the 2 taxes. And it had a lot of benefits for Pelican Park, and it was approved, and it was no new tax. It just consolidated the 2 taxes they had, so you didn't have to have separate election dates. They were doing what you have to do, and that is they'd have one election to renew one millage, and then about 3 or 4 years later, they'd have another election to renew the other millage. So what we did is we did what's called an in lieu of proposition to the voters, where you combine the 2 taxes and then you cancel the underlying taxes at the same time. So there's no tax increase, you're levying the same tax, you're also renewing it at the same time, so there's an extension. You get an additional benefit in your situation because your 2 taxes are voted for slightly different purposes. One is the broader purpose, which is fine, and it covers fire and emergency services pretty comprehensively. So you have a lot of flexibility with that. And when we've had to borrow money in order to do something with respect to emergency services, we can only pledge one of the taxes, not both taxes. So if we do this in lieu of proposition, the benefit is you now have one purpose for all of your tax revenues, and you have maximum flexibility with fire as well as emergency medical services. So it makes a lot of sense to do that. If we have to, if this board at some point wants to borrow again, you could pledge this one unified tax. You have better security, you're gonna get a lower interest rate, lower cost to the taxpayers. So that makes a lot of sense also. What I've done is handed each of you a draft. It's this 3-page document. It has a draft 514, and it's a proposition in lieu of millage. This is the draft of what it might look like, and this is similar to what Pelican Park did, and that was very successful. And you would provide for the levy of a 34.95 mills tax effective next year. And it provides also for the immediate cancellation of the current 34.95 tax. So it in effect is a renewal, no new tax, but you're providing for a single purpose that meets your needs. Because, Mark, I remember when we did that borrowing a while back, we were scratching our heads and said, oh my gosh, you can only pledge one of these taxes. We can do a lot better for you in borrowing and getting a loan. If you can pledge both of them, you have better security, you get a lower interest rate. So there's a lot of benefits to it. This is the draft language. Hopefully this would be helpful. We talked about potential election dates. If you were to have this become effective next year and you have all these potential benefits, you would, and you want to get it on the tax roll next year, you would need to have the election either November of this year or one of the 2 spring dates next year. And what we talked about is that on the 2 spring dates next year, a lot of the public bodies we've been talking about that are in the same situation you are have some question about doing the spring dates, because you have the party primaries, Republican and Democrat, on those same dates for the fall congressional elections next year. And a lot of folks are a little leery of that. They're not quite sure how to assess that. And then to make matters worse, since the state does not consider those party elections technically as state elections, they don't share election costs with you. So it's something that you may want to consider, and you may want to consider putting it on the November ballot. If you do, the second page has a time schedule that you can look at, and I'll just condense it very, very quickly. Whenever any public body calls a tax renewal election, you have to do it in 2 separate board meetings. The first board meeting, you simply make an announcement, which happens to be the 3rd page in this 3-page outline. And it's simply indicating that you're planning or preserving your legal right to consider calling this election at next month's meeting. So the first meeting would be June 11th, in order to meet this criteria, where you would make the announcement. You just read a 1-second announcement into the minutes of your meeting. You have to publish it 1 time in your official journal, and you have to notify the legislative delegation covering this area in Baton Rouge. Now, what does that do? It doesn't mandate you call the election at the next meeting, but it preserves your legal ability to consider the election call. If you don't make the announcement, you can't even consider it. You won't get on the ballot. There's nothing you can do. So those are some of the things we talked about, and things for y'all to consider. And if you do decide to go with the November 15th election, we'll prepare everything that needs to be done. We handle election calls as a courtesy, and there will be no charge for legal services. If you do at some point in the future do another bond issue as you did years past, then we would charge a fee in connection with the bond issue. And that fee would be calculated in accordance with the Attorney General's approved fee schedule. They regulate our industry and the charges that we charge. But as far as the election costs, we handle that as a courtesy for you, and we've handled all your prior ones also.
On the November election, what is on the slate for this fall?
We're not aware of anything on, it's an off election, it's an off
I
election day.
was about to say, I couldn't think of any.
Next year is scheduled congressional.
United States Senate,
There's some state law.
Congress. So if we do November, it's gonna be low turnout.
Probably so, but I've got to tell you, I mean, turnout hasn't been very high on any elections across the state. You know, it's even when there's a lot on the ballot, we're not seeing a huge turnout. It's not seeing.
So for a point of order, the only thing we have to do tonight is just make our intent to move forward. I think that's all we need to do tonight.
I think that it would be a polling of the board to say, do you want to place this on the June agenda to preserve your right? And I would recommend yes.
That's right. So with that, so we have a motion to go ahead and put this on the June.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, yep, and we have a
Next
second.
month.
Any further discussion on that? I hear none, so let's vote. All in favor of having it on the June agenda, say aye. Any opposed? None. And so that carries, so we will have it on there and we'll move it on. Thank you for your time
Absolutely. Glad to. Anytime,
and your wisdom. So,
anytime.
okay,
You got a good guy here advising you too. I work with him on a lot of political subdivisions around the state. You know.
thank you.
I'm gonna slip out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anybody waiting at home, I've got to. Take care of that. Take care.
All right, folks, so next on the new business is we'll have executive session. And we'll go into executive session for personnel matters. To go into executive session, I'll have to have a motion to enter into it.
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
Second.
Let's vote. All in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. And as a reminder, while in session, there will be no decisions made. We cannot make a decision while in session. And since it does involve some people that's in the room, I will ask that the board stay. I will ask that our human resources, PMI, stay. And Ms. Donna, I would like for you to enter into the session as well. Yes, please. Everyone else, please give us a minute. And we're going into executive session at 7:42.
And you pause the recording.
Do you need me at all for that one conversation? That one employee matter?
No, no.
This is.
Yeah, pause everything.
Okay, so we are now out of executive session. It's 6 o'clock, and just confirm no decisions were made while in executive session. Next item up on the agenda is a resolution of 2025-18, resolution to appoint a fire chief for Fire District 3. And this resolution reads, the district has determined that it's in the best interest of the district to accept the nomination of fire chief and appoint Michael Geisler as the fire chief for Fire District 3. So that's the resolution that we have in front of us. I'd like to have a motion to accept,
Make a motion to accept the resolution.
and we have a second.
Yeah.
And any further discussion on that? All in favor of adopting resolution of 2025, also, I'm gonna catch it. In the resolution, we're gonna have a final offer of compensation will be coming by the next meeting.
We need to ask for public comments before we.
We do have to,
Yeah.
okay, any public comments?
Way to go, chief. Let's go.
All right, we're good. All right, we're good. All right, so all in favor of accepting resolution 2025-18 for the appointment of chief, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Right, and
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
so the hiring committee consisted of 3 people, myself, Mr. Leo, and Ms. Donna Volette, correct, say it right? And for her work, I'd like to give you a certificate of recognition for helping us do it. It was very important to have somebody from the public here. I'll tell you, she led the face-to-face interview. So, so it felt, it wasn't like we were cooking things, and so I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yes, I'll
I
start.
don't think his face has come back from off of a smile yet.
I guess I'll stay for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah,
Really, just real quick, Danny, if you don't mind, I appreciate everyone's support, our guys. These are the guys who make my job extra easy. Mike, Mark, Teresa especially makes my job extra easy. And then the guys that are sitting behind me in this audience, I can't be where I am right now today without them. So I appreciate each one of every one of their support. Y'all support as the board, PMI support, holding our hands through all these different obstacles that we have. Of course, the support of my family, my wife, my children at home. So
Are they
yeah,
watching?
They are watching. My son was a little bit under the weather, so she was going to try to sneak him here either way. And my youngest is a little bit under the weather, so he's at home. But again, I appreciate their support, everybody's support, and let's keep on moving on and making this place, a wonderful place to be, and support our community and make them proud of us, and be sure that they're in good hands when we show up to their front doors. So,
And I have
Thanks
no
again.
doubt that you will find out.
appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Okay. Next up, item 4 under the new business, 2025-16 resolution to approve the 2025 levy of the ad valorem and millage on it. And I am required to read part of this. And so this is resolution 2025-16, resolution of the Board of Commissioners of St. Tammany Fire Protection District 3 to levy millage rate for 2025. Be it resolved that the following millages are hereby levied on the 2025 tax roll on all property subject to taxation by St. Tammany Parish Fire Protection District 3. the millages. One, it's gonna, I guess these are the millage numbers.
Yes, the millage key.
The millage key is gonna be 1069-103. The acquisition and maintenance, it doesn't go on to read here about the ambulance, but it's 9.940 mils. And then millage key 1069-130 acquisition and maintenance, and that's gonna be a total of 25.010 mils. Be it further resolved that the proper administrative officials of the St. Tammany Parish, state of Louisiana, they are hereby empowered, authorized, and directed to shred said taxes as here and above set forth upon the assessment roll of said parish for the year of 2025, and to make the collection of the taxes imposed for and on behalf of the taxing authority according to law, and that the taxes herein levied shall become a permanent lien and privilege on all properties subject to taxation as herein set forth, and collection thereof shall be enforceable in the manner provided by law. The foregoing resolution was read in full, and a roll was called on the adoption thereof, and the resolution it's not been adopted yet. And so before we vote, we had a discussion about the comment period. And for what was learned is that we don't have to go into a timed comment period.
It's not a public hearing. We just need to have a motion second to
Okay, and then a comment.
adopt, and then we need to ask for any public comments.
So do we have a motion to adopt resolution 2025-16 as it relates to levying the millage for 2025?
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-016.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
And we have a second to that, so now we can have any discussion as it relates to this resolution. I hear nothing. Do we have anything from the audience? And I hear nothing, so we have no discussion. So we're gonna, this one, it looks like we're gonna have to poll. So,
You need a roll call. vote.
yeah, so let's go ahead and start with Mr. Ricks.
I vote yea.
Okay. Mr. Leo,
Yes.
Mr. Randall,
Yay.
Mr. Adams.
Yay.
Myself vote yes. So. So the foregoing resolution was read in full, the roll was called, and adoption thereof, and the resolution was adopted. By unanimous vote. Okay. Then we have resolution 2025-17. And I'm gonna go ahead and read it in as is, but I'm going to reserve to make a change during the comment period. So the resolution of the Board of Commissioners of St. Tammany Parish District 3 relating to the approval provisional reappointments of Fire Chief and Assistant Chief for District 3. To reappoint Mark May as District Chief effective May 14th, 2025 for District 3. So do I have a motion to adopt it?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
And do we have a second? We have a second. So any discussion? So I'd like to make an amendment to it because it really,
It should be for district chief, not.
yeah, so when we do this, we'll just, we'll adopt it with the amendments to read for district chief.
District Chief.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments on it? No. All in favor of adopting 2025-17 with amendments to where it reads provisional reappointment of district chief? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear none. Back on for a couple months. Okay. Then we have, VFIS and LWCC. You had this under a note to me. I didn't know if that was something that you wanted to talk about commercial insurance. So
We did that with the resolution.
all right, so we're good with that one. Chief, that brings us into radio upgrades.
Yes, sir. I am a part of the Fire Chiefs Association, and we have a break-off committee that discusses radio communication issues. And in those conversations, we are discussing some upgrades that we need to make to our own radios to be able to keep up with some of the advancements and changes that they're making in their radios. They recently switched to a new CAD system, and they are going to be switching to, at some point in the next couple of years, to a new console system. They're two different things that help facilitate their jobs as dispatchers. And what I've learned is some of our radios are extremely outdated. I'm concerned that that poses really a safety hazard for our employees. We are revamping our Mayday policies, and so we may not be able to partake in some of those policies if our radios are not updated. We have approximately 10 or so old Motorola's that cannot be really updated anymore. We need the option to use VMute, or what most of the guys know as Silent Night, to be able to work on their new layout as far as the way they're going to put half of the district on one channel and our eastern half of the district on, the parish on a different channel. So it's a lot of radio jargon that if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. But we do have 10 radios that need to completely be replaced. And then we have a handful of our green Kenwoods. When the previous administration purchased those, they did not purchase them with the bells and whistles that we need to facilitate these upgrades that are coming soon. So those would need upgrades as well. And then what else we need? Yeah, so those radios would need upgrades. Our mobiles and our units and our fire trucks would need to be upgraded, and our station base radios need to be upgraded. So that is why I'm here today, to ask for some funding. It's a little bit over my $10,000 spending limit, and I'm asking for about $23,000. These radios that we're looking for are not, they're not the Lamborghini of radios, but they're going to be the radios that do the job for what we're looking for and what we need as far as the upgrades.
So
What
Michael,
kind is it that we're supposed to be, we're gonna look in the buy?
These are the Kenwoods.
Kenwood?
Yes, sir.
Michael, it's just real plain. If you don't have these radios, you can't do your job.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't get dispatched, you can't serve the public.
Yeah, essentially, we would have radio communications, but we would hear every radio communication. So we would hear District 1, we would hear District 11, 7, and whoever else.
So every call, if we don't do this, these folks, these guys got to go do lifting assist at 2 o'clock in the morning, will hear every chatter that taking place in St. Tammany Parish.
That's true, yes.
My radio would be in a freezer somewhere.
Yeah.
It's been my experience, silent mode is very much worth it, because one of the things that causes chronic health problems in firefighters is sleep deprivation. And hearing sounds all night long, it's not good for that. So I'm fully behind that, if that's give y'all that ability with base radios in the stations.
Well, I firmly believe they gotta have the tools to do the job.
Yeah.
If they can't get adequate dispatching.
Up-to-date radios with the Mayday drills and everything is pretty important too, to be able to have that capability.
Providing answers for the trees that are hatches.
Yeah, so these Motorola's, I think they're at their end of life. We're piecing them together. They come to me daily for new batteries, clips. The clips that keep the batteries on the radios are breaking. I think it's time to invest in some.
And so 20, you're saying up to 23?
My quote here is for 22,100.
You want to go to 25?
That would help a lot, yes.
Extra clips, all that other stuff. too.
Yeah, any few little things that we didn't
What about
look at, yeah.
what about harnesses?
It does not include those. Typically, the radio harnesses are purchased individually. They customize them and get their names on them. So that's not in this quote now.
Okay, so department won't be providing the harnesses to go with.
We can add, we can certainly look into it.
Yeah, maybe at least for the company officers. Y'all providing a radio for every individual,
So
firefighters also?
each full-time employee has a take-home radio, and then we have enough for part-time, and obviously we have a couple spares.
Okay.
So with the addition with the harnesses with 25,
Um, I would assume. I would
so
assume.
you just want to maybe get the harnesses.
Yeah, I mean, there's been let me say this, there's been studies done, with these harnesses with regard to Mayday drills. I used to be one to carry a radio outside of your bunker gear. These harnesses allow you to put it on first and then put your bunker gear over it, and then your mic hang out because, there've been, when firefighters go down in situations and they can't reach their radio, that's a big, big issue. These studies have proven that this works to keep the radio on the person so they don't lose them or don't have access to them in an emergency. So I would say let's go ahead and get some harnesses too.
So we'll need a number to.
Yeah.
Well, one option you could do is do a record keeping resolution, let this be a capital fund outlay. Do up to 25 for the radios, and then he has discretionary for 10 for the harnesses, and he can do that.
That would be-
Yeah, I mean, at your discretion.
So let's do that.
So forth and so
All
on.
right, so for for Michael's need for the radios, we'll have to have a motion to approve up to 25,000 for the purchase of the new radios.
I'll make a motion.
We got that motion, we have a second,
I'll say that.
we have a second on it, any further discussion as it relates to the radios? I hear none, so there's no all in favor, any opposed? Okay, Michael, we'll watch them where you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I think they'll appreciate it more.
Yeah.
All right, so the training building. So the department, you heard the discussion about the physical fitness program that these guys are doing. And I've watched them a time or two down there at the building. And the weather, when they've been doing this, has been pretty decent weather outside, probably upper 70s, maybe even into the 80s, and with probably 75 to 80% humidity. But there was a day I was down there and it was probably 90 degrees, 95 degrees with about 90% humidity. And I'm watching these folks try to pull this off. And it was really impressive to see the number of people that were down there participating. I think I seen all three shifts, and I can't recall anybody not participating into some level there. So what we went ahead and done, I talked to Michael about doing it, and we took the building down there and separated it roughly in half. We built a wall across there. And that wall, what it does for them is it's going to give them a place to be. All right. We got these folks, they're willing to go out there and work their butts off to be physically fit. I think it's incumbent upon us to give them the ability to be successful. If they're willing to do this, I don't think any of this is mandatory. This is all voluntary. So we really need to have these folks be as successful as they can. That building, the rear of that building it's incredibly bad shape. We isolated it because we looked at the termite damage to the front of the building and we really didn't see any. Those walls, none of the walls in there are load-bearing walls. So we was able to get up into the ceiling, the drop-down ceilings and look, and really didn't see anything in the front half. The rear of that building has extensive termite damage in it. I have severe concerns. There's exposed wiring that's in there. There's decomposing wood that's in there. There is an air-conditioned system that's in the backside of that building that's sitting on rotten wood. We've got people transitioning around in there. And but the thing that really bothered me the most was seeing these guys work at that high temperature. So, I think it should come upon us to give them a work environment that's safe and to be successful. So to get down to it, I'm gonna ask the board to allow us to spend some money to put an air conditioned system in the front half of that training building. And, we've got one bid that came in, and it's for a 4-ton unit. It's everything except new ductwork. So it's a turnkey package, and it's coming in at $14,583. I checked with some folks that I knew that's kind of in the air conditioning business from around here. They're out of Texas, but they were telling me they would be surprised if we got it for 20. So I think that we ought to get a good deal. We got 2 more bids pending.
Did you look into these mini split systems?
We left it to the professionals, and the word to them was, we want, whatever we put in there, we want it to work. And mini splits was not out of the question. It was there. But the calculations puts this at about a little over 3 tons of AC requirement in there. I don't know if mini splits would get you that much tonnage, so. But this is not for a mini split, this is for a central unit. It's got the traditional compressor and condenser system into it. The only thing it doesn't have is the ductwork. And the ductwork that's in there doesn't seem to be any damage to it. I've been all up in that attic here lately, building a wall and reinforcing it to the building, so it looks appropriate to me. And the professional came out and looked at it. He didn't find anything significant that raised his eyebrow. So with that, I'm just going to ask the board for us to be able to spend that up to $15,000 to secure some air conditioning for these guys. So can I have a motion for that?
All right, motion, we raise $15,000 to approve it.
Do we have a second on it? We have a second. So that opens it up to any discussion.
And do we have the room in the budget? I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just there. Not you.
No, it does. Yeah, it's a complete unit.
Okay. Okay.
No further discussion. All right. All in favor of going ahead and spending $15,000 for the purchase of the air conditioning system, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? I hear motion carries. And if anybody wants to see the specs on it, they got it here. If not, whatever, you get the other 2 bids in, once they're final. Take as long as they're giving us compatibility of 4 tons and a good name. That's, we're buying a train too. It's not a contract operating system. It's a good system. Okay? Good. All right, so number 9 on the agenda, property owned that's on North Pontchartrain and Turkin. Michael, would you bring that up for us? Okay, so this is kind of a graphic that kind of gets everybody understand where this piece of property is. So if you know where North Pontchartrain is, and North Pontchartrain goes from Highway 190, it slices back all the way back to Fish Factory. But where this property is located is closer to the Fish Factory side of North Pontchartrain. And there's a road here that's Turkin, which is here, and there's a 1 acre lot that sits right here that we own. See my notes on it. The property was a donation through an agreement between the property owner in St. Tammany Parish as part of St. Tammany Parish ordinance, calendar number 3520. And the ordinance series, so this occurred back in 07 in the series number 1549. And the developer voluntarily, they proposed that they pay some impact fees and donate this 1 acre of land. And the previous administration put some makeshift heliport back there. It's really a piece of PVC pipe with a windsock on it and some cones is what it amounts to. We do keep the grass up, I understand. The grass,
Yeah,
so they go cut it. from-
yeah, yep,
They
yes.
keep it cut. But Michael was approached by the property owner, if I'm not mistaken, he's here, that he had some concerns about his cattle getting out through there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so Michael wanted to have a discussion about releasing that property. So I'll turn that conversation over to you.
Yeah, so this gentleman approached us. He had some issues with the front of the property and the roadway and also wanting to put in some fencing to secure the backside of the property. And I know we haven't used it and I don't know when we will use it. We have, if we have any plans to develop it. And so I wanted to add it to the agenda just as a discussion to see where we may go in the future or the near future with that property. Is it a liability for us? It's just sitting there. Do we really need it for a helipad? In my opinion, no. So are there risks for us owning that property and it just sitting there potentially? So yes, I just really
Well, I
wanted.
think we have some responsibility, if we've got people's livestock that's getting out through our property. I think we have a liability. We gotta do something to protect his stuff. I looked at the paperwork on it, and I'm not a lawyer. I know that we own it. I know we had it on outright.
Was it donated to us or?
It was donated to us.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it was donated property, but it was an agreement that was built into an ordinance. So they both, my understanding, and he could probably tell us a lot more, but they wanted to put a subdivision back there. And so the developer made an agreement that he would pay some impact fees for all the properties that he had. And in his agreement, he would donate an acre of land, it specifically says, for the building of a fire department that's there, is what it says. Again, I'm not a land lawyer, don't even try to want to be that. But I do know that in order for us to disperse property that's owned by the fire department or any public entity, there is a process that has been approved by a revised statute and has been endorsed by the Attorney General. So it's not like we can give it away. I mean, there's a process that has to
Could it
happen.
be given back to the owner that donated?
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
I can tell you, we own a piece of property. It's in our name. It's titled in our name. The law says we cannot give anything away that's
Right.
there.
I think the question we need to ask is, number one is, are we ever gonna use that property? 1 acre, is it big enough to build a station on, if they've developed anything back there?
That's a tight road. We were talking about it. We would have to.
If it is of no use
We'd have
to us,
to
then,
cover both sides of the road just to swing the truck in.
yeah, if it's no use to us, then why are we keeping it, and putting the money on maintenance and the fence and everything on it?
At the very least, folks, we gotta do something to protect the man's property. His property is getting out through our property.
Yes.
Would something like, T-post and barbed wire be good, or,
I had, that's what I originally came over here to talk to you guys about, was to propose putting up a fence around the backside of your property. And I was the power lines run right up in front of the property on Pontchartrain. And I was gonna contact Fleco since they're in the area cleaning right away. So I was gonna ask them to clean that, but I wouldn't ask them to clean yours unless you were in agreement after the start of the conversation. And I was planning on stepping my fence back off of Pontchartrain in order to allow them access underneath the power lines in the future. So your land, if they were to clean it, and you were to put a fence, they probably would have to move back into your property a little further, so it would even further restrict the amount of property that you had. It's just, the gate's not locked.
That's your own business. I have an electric fence around there. I just want something more permanent because I found the gate open from time to time. I'm not blaming you guys and stuff. Just
So if we were to do something to secure the gate, is the fencing that's there now, is it adequate to keep your cattle in?
yeah, just put a lot of it. Bad. Not blaming them.
Okay.
Just found that it was open, so I'm like, you know what, I just need to put a fence around it. What I had proposed was you buy the material, I'll put the fence up between our properties. Farming wire.
Okay, so it's a matter of securing the gates and allowing him to do what he wants to do. with the
We'll
fence.
certainly get the material. That's a very generous offer to get the material and you put it up. That's very
But
generous.
if you're looking to get rid of it, you know,
I don't know. I think, well, I don't,
I'm not pressuring you to have.
We have to look at the legality of it.
yeah, I don't know that we even want to. There's various things that we need to check with the property insurance rating folks to see. We need to understand where we are strategically. Strategically, does it make sense for us to hold that property in the event that we need to put a station out there to do proper protection of folks? So I don't think we're even close, to making a decision on what to do with it, other than the fact we gotta protect. We gotta keep his cattle from getting out of our property.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, so dollar wise, what do you think it would be
You
talking?
know, put some fence up and, material wise, probably right now I'm looking at a 5-strand barbed wire fence, properly done. Less than $2 a foot, and that's less than $2, that's not counting labor, I'll handle that part of it. I think it was probably closer to $1.50 a foot. You know, it's not,
I mean-
so you have, what? 250.
200, about 200 an acre.
$200 for young baby.
So that's well within your spending authority, Michael, so,
Yeah, we did use some public security.
yeah, so. Michael, I will get with him and see what he needs and if we can help him in some way.
Also, that's if I do make an agreement with the LECO to take down that fence and the trees that are underneath our line. But you gotta be okay, they took the trees and the fence that's in front of your property after I get the other fence put up. Or I can do it before, it doesn't matter, because when you give me the green light that you're paying for the fence, I'll have that up in just a matter of.
I'm indifferent, whatever makes the most sense.
But then again, you wouldn't have the ability to secure it unless you put a fence up in front.
Well, then certainly can take that off, take it down, let them cut whatever they need to cut, because that's protecting the power lines.
Yeah.
If it gets up in the power lines, people can lose their power.
We gotta get in there and do it.
Well, if it's preventing the power company from maintaining their lines, we don't want to be in their way. Yeah, so, we'll do what, that's right. So Michael,
They may tell me that we don't do that, but in the past, they did that other section from just down the road going toward Fish Hatchery. They took the whole line out for me and I repaired it.
is it something that we should do? I mean, as far as taking it out?
It's brush and they go in there with those runners and brings, just rip it out, which is, hey, just put it around.
Okay, well, Michael, I don't think you have any opposition from us, just whatever it takes to protect the property and.
Just report back to us, let us know what you came up with, Thank you, sir, for bringing that to our attention. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, I had, thank you, it was in your notes about some general comments.
Yeah, the only comment I have is on the performance report, the dispersed receipts and disbursements. For the next resolution, I am going to prepare a resolution to remove on page 1, line item 40015, which is the 770,000 for the inventory tax, because that is bundled in your current ad valorem tax.
Counting it twice.
Correct, and it's counted twice, which means you would be under budget on the 4.159 million. And we would be required at the end of the year to have a resolution to come back within the LLA requirements. So it's just a housekeeping measure, that's all.
Perfect.
That's all I have.
All right. So that's the end of the agenda tonight. So if we could have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nobody opposed. Nobody voted.
If anyone's opposed, remain seated.